Hey, how's it going, Crankyrhino? This is Rock. I said, I forget what your new combo team name is called, but we're doing a VOD review. This is the one you asked for from Cursed Hollow. I said, we'll take a look, see what we can do, and anything we can improve, do, adjust, etc. So, first things first, as always, you want to be evaluating what exactly does our team do well, what is our win condition, and what does the enemy team do well, and what do they want to do. If possible, we always want to fight in ways that are effective for us and not for the enemy team. So as we load in here, our team is a little unconventional. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that you have to potentially force a certain playstyle. So both Zul'jin and KTZ want to fight, right? So they want to hit people, they want to stack off of people, and they are very reliant on getting their stacks. So not saying that's not possible, but just one of those things where it's like if your team is very reliant on stacks, it might make things difficult when you need to split up. And when you look at the map as a whole, Cursed Hollow tends to be a little bit more of a macro slash boss winning map. So it's like usually what ends the game on Cursed Hollow is bosses. So you want to make sure that you're actually able to complete and take bosses and be able to do those things. You guys are actually doing a lot of early game kills and ganks here, getting stacks on stuff. I really liked your CC layering combo earlier there on the Stitches, and then you guys are continuing to get good kills here. If you notice, we're actually not that far in XP despite getting 2 kills. Oh, we just lost one middle. Just because that's a really dangerous thing, doctorJ. Like, that stun doesn't really do anything. You don't want to be blowing your stun and using your mana if there's not going to be follow-up damage on that. But just in general, that's what I said, you're going to be running into this weird catch-22 of who does what. So, you know, yes, you can do camps, you can do things, but the strength of your team is going to come from stacking, which means that you're going to need to be able to stack both KTZ and Zul'jin. And so your team I would call all in, right? So what I mean by all in is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a wombo combo, but everyone on your team wants to fight when you have all of your buttons up. So when KTZ has his combo up and has the and can use either the fissure or the icicle blast, like you want to fight. Um, if Blaze has bunker or combustion, you want to fight. You're gonna fight around, like, you guys don't really have what you would call a pick comp. A pick comp where, you know, a team runs around as like a 3-man and they can pretty much kill and do anything. Yes, you have some good kill pressure in like a KTZ wombo, but like it's not going to do enough damage to get a kill. Like if you think pick comp, think like Varian, like a Varian tank. So we're not quite a pick comp. We're definitely not macro, right? Like yes, we have enough macro covered between Blaze and Rhaegar and Hogger, but we're not going to win the map through our macro. And then in the same way, we are not poke, right? KTZ is looking for combos to blow stuff up. We're not going to be poking and attritioning them down. You could say that you're potentially a death ball, but the main thing is that you're not a death ball in the sense that you're an immovable object where you want to be pushed off. You aren't pushing people out and winning through attrition and winning the lane and knocking down buildings if they don't answer you. So that kind of puts you in an all-in bucket. And so since you guys are all in, you don't really want to fight until your all in is available. When compared to the enemy team is effectively pick, and the way that you know that is they have a Stitches. At this level of play, I doubt anyone is playing Stitches as an all-in tank, but if you pick Stitches, you're most likely a pick. You're looking for hooks, you're looking for gorges, you've got a Malfurion route, so they want to hook somebody and do that. So if we can control vision and not give them their free picks, and we actually get to that all-in fight composition, might be able to do a lot of good. The red team has drafted a cardinal sin, which is there's no saves for the Malfurion. So even if KTZ doesn't one-shot the Malfurion, you put enough pressure on their team, there's not a lot they can do because Malfurion cannot sustain himself. The one other thing that they do have is they have a little bit better macro, but they didn't take the macro talents, right? If Artanis would have taken the PvE talent, you maybe would have had a little bit more problems on boss race and stuff like that. So So now that we know what our win condition is and what we want to do, we want to be able to make sure that we're enabling that and ensuring that we get kills. So I'm glad that Cranky and stuff is staying on top of the camps. We've obviously already did one more camp than them. So being on top of these camps means that we can use them to push and do stuff in the objective. So the bottom objective is coming up, and we've got that camp timed, so that way they have to answer the camp or the objective. So I like that. It's a little early on the camp, right? So like technically, you don't want to be capping it until that like 30-second mark, because that way it will walk to the middle and they can't clear it and come down to you. But you know, little things. So, but we do want to get there early. We are an all-in comp. We want to fight them. We want to win this objective. That Artanis is definitely overextended. I'll need to watch. I'm going to switch to doctorJ's perspective and rewind that real quick. So one thing about Blaze main tank is he's not considered quote-unquote a reliable main tank because his engage can miss. So what you want to do normally is you want to actually be oiling first. So that way, so that way your stun actually lands. If you oil someone, it's actually hard to miss the stun. You have 2 charges of oil, so you can afford to oil and then commit to the stun. So that way he actually gets killed. So you guys do get the kill, like it's 5 versus 1. But like if we were short just a little bit of DPS there, he potentially lives. So see what you can do to try and make sure that you're oiling first and then stunning doctorJ. So they're down a player. We really should be able to get this objective for free. We just need to watch out for a Stitches hook. So we're doing a good job trying to ward. All right, they gave. Well done. First objective for free. Again, we want to get back to our lanes and hold all the macro stuff. So Hogger gets out because of Hogger things. doctorJ. Again, 4 versus 4. It's a little awkward, but this is somewhat okay. Mainly because we can still get some stacks on KTZ. But it's awkward because, oh, yeah, we had some Anderson UG there. I was going to say, it's a little awkward because typically your offlane doesn't want to be fighting people, right? Like, this isn't 4-man Hogger. We didn't build Dynamite build or anything like that where we actually can continuously take a fight. The whole reason we want an offlane is to be able to do pressure rotations and beat whoever the opposing offlaner is. And so with them, you know, more or less brawling you, then we don't have the ability to do that. So, and then Zul'jin, as much as he can siege, isn't really a great solo laner because he wants to be hitting things. So if Zul'jin's not able to hit things, he's not able to stack. So this looks like it's going to be a 4 versus 4 here top with Hogger versus Zagara bottom. It's on our side. That's a good stun. That's a good wombo. We're a little late. I don't know if that stun was called because Iggy was not able to follow up perfectly. So, see, again right there. So if you used oil first, I think you would have landed your stun. I said, did we lose both? Nope, looks like we live. Did we lose Cranky? Nope. Oh, Pado went back in though. Oh, Pado. Okay. We only lose KTZ. Okay. So let's look back real quick. This objective being on your side and you had numbers up early should not have been given over to them. A little bit further. Okay. So I'm going to cheat for a second once you get to the channel. Okay. Right here. Okay. I see 4 players top via minimap. They have 2, 3 at most. Right? So if you look, you guys are ahead, and you have opportunities to potentially get kills. Malph is in here. Like, Pado is half health, so this isn't really ideal, but obviously Zul'jin kind of plays that, like, dicey, low health thing. They're on your side of the map. So if they really want to fight you on your side of the map, you have the ability to poke it, and you have the ability to pincer and take fights, and you also have this tower to retreat to. So if they really want to channel this, so it's like you can fight them at this channel in your choke. If you are looking to fight, we need to be together for the fight. So Iggy went and got vision, which is fine. So it's like, so now we're actually, instead of having a numbers advantage when they walk into us prepared, ready to fight the objective, we're now trickling in. And so we throw stun before oil. And so I'm gonna keep. Oh wow, you also took that talent. Okay, we will correct talents when we get there. Like the reason that I'm critiquing this so much is because you'd be able to actually slow them, and they're slowed while they're stunned. And that little bit of slow may have been enough to actually secure this from landing on Iggy, or Iggy's stacks. Iggy's not stacked yet. So you don't have, because Zul'jin's up here, like dueling, you guys are 3v3, and you just used all of your damage, your stun and your wombo. So now you don't have any buttons, so you need to back up. But we're sitting here like continuing to duel a sustained AA Vala. So right here, this oil here is not in the right direction. This oil needs to go down the lane. Right? If you go the oil down the lane, this is a dead mouth. Right? Like, you see how... We'll go back to that exact circumstance. You have oil and stun ready for the mouth right here. So, like, this oil... You didn't take... You took AA... You didn't... So you took AA reducing oil, which is good, right? They have pretty much all AA damage between Artanis and Vala and Zagara. So I agree with slowing AA oil. Okay. So right here, if you want to fight or you're trying to zone, either way, this needs to be controlled. Iggy's halfway done channeling. So we need to be communicating, what are we trying to do? Are we fighting or are we zoning? Because if we're zoning, I want that oil down right now. Right here. Don't let them walk up and hit Iggy. And then if you're looking to fight, I still would expect the oil, so you can oil and stun this Malfurion. He's super overextended. And then we lit our oil immediately on fire. You really don't want to be lighting your oil on fire when it's being used for the slow. Okay. Because of our abilities being on cooldown, right? KTZ now has this stuff up. He's going to use it here. And we anti-synergied. We need to communicate with each other what we're doing. Right? If doctorJ stuns first, Iggy can then follow up. If Iggy stuns first, doctorJ can follow up. Because we did both, his stun missed because he got pulled upwards. And again, now we have no buttons. So we effectively just need to bail. We've used all of our abilities to kill things. We are too low on resources. We have to give this objective. It's not ideal and it's not correct to give objective on our side, but if you look at how their damage structure works, right, they have a Vala that's just going to keep hitting, keep hitting, keep hitting. And as much as Zul'jin technically is a good Vala counter because Zul'jin can out-trade Vala, Zul'jin was never fighting Vala. Zul'jin was stuck fighting Stitches. So if we had switched our rotations to where, you know, we had our offlaner top in the offlane, and then the 4-man rotates up, this is be a 5v4. And we win the objective that's on our side, sets us up for 2 of 3. Yes, Cigar is going to get some siege damage down here, but, you know, there's a choice to be won. And when our win condition revolves around us getting 10s, I think it'd be much better to fight early and get stacks early. So, yep, and then you get hooked and you die. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful for review. Okay, so pretty much just nothing to do right now for a bit. We can get camps and things. Yep. It's going to be about even to 10, so unfortunately this 10's on their side, so it's not really the easiest to get when we have to fight on their side of the map. We get 10s just briefly first. I'm glad that you were able to... Oh boy. Okay, let's go back again. Okay. We have 10s first, and we got to the objective. Okay. Let's look at what's happening right now. Where do we want to fight? What are we trying to do? Right? We know they just took middle camp. So that means they're going to be rotating in from this angle if they get here on time. Are we trying to channel? We have 10s for a brief moment here, we have a chance to take an advantaged fight. Despite picking 10s, we do not have, not that you have to slam pick it, but we still don't have Rhaegar's 10 and Blaze's 10 picked. Like, we need to be picking those as soon as we have a chance. So if we're looking for a kill, we are not in position on this kill. If this, again, is zoning, right? If we're zoning for our channel, which is fine, saying, like, I want to see more zoning things. But we have to watch out for Stitches. Like, Stitches is really strong on any map where you can channel the objective, because you are giving vision to the enemy team while you're sitting here channeling it, which makes you an easy target for a hook. Vala is middle. Zakar is bottom. I don't think we should be trying to channel this. We should be trying to force our advantage with 10s. Because now we get eaten. He's just dead because there's nothing that he can do. There's no heals coming. We might get a kill there. Nope. We're going to Ancestral's use on himself. For being a 4 versus 5, we really don't want to be here anymore. Yep, we're going to lose a lot more. It's already kind of risky to fight things on their half of the map, right? Because it's easier for them to channel, it's easier for them to poke, they have vision control, like, just in general, similar to Garden of Terror. Like, the ones that are, the objectives that are on the enemy side are very hard to contest, and tend to be not worth fighting for. If you can get them because they're dead, great, but you really want to be kind of looking for opportunities to get kills and push your advantage elsewhere. So now this is where it's hard, is that you guys are stuck at a 3 of 3 curse that's neutral, right? And so despite the curse being neutral, looks like they're going to kill Hogger middle. How do we do this? How do we get an advantage? Again, if you want to try and get a kill, like I will go into try mode afterwards to show you the importance of oil first. You really have to oil first for your stuns to be more consistent. Might be able to get a kill here on the Stitches because the Malf doesn't have burst heal. Yep. And you can probably kill the Malf here too. Oh, we got the other ones. Combo landed. Well done. Right? So you see what I mean by your team is much stronger when you play all in. Like, you guys are able to play around the burst opportunities and burst windows. It's almost pick. Oh my gosh, the Zagar just went Nidus. I just saw that. Okay. Whatever. So, despite being down a Hogger, you guys were able to get there and layer your CCs and get kills and punish their super squish and punish the fact that the Malfurion doesn't have a save, which means that he can't stay in long to give them sustain and help. You have an advantage. You're looking to push your advantage. I agree. Probably the easiest thing you can do is take the boss. As much as you'd like to do other stuff. Okay. I'll finish that first thought. As much as you'd like to do other stuff, like push buildings and do those things, it's hard to do when you're behind on the map, but it's definitely easy to take the boss on your side and then use that to either get a building or to go push for their boss. So, doctorJ, you really need to be either hitting the stuns or using the stuns when it matters. Like, stunning them this far away from the boss doesn't do any different than stunning them this far away from the boss, right? Like the amount you want to zone needs to be relative to what is going to happen. If you stun someone here, what happens? They're stunned here, and now you are potentially 1 versus 4 away from your team. If you stun here, it's potentially 5 versus 4, right? And you're at least stunning near the team. Like, I don't think they can do anything either way. Like, you guys have this because you started on time, and you have, what's his face? You have Zul'jin at low health, so you've got lots of damage, but just make sure that you're zoning and playing in position for where your team can actually follow up. Because if you land a stun, like, you could potentially get kills, but you're not going to get a kill way over there by yourself. Okay, so we got the boss, and now we're going to take their boss. Okay. So I'm not sure what the call was here. Our team likes to fight. KTZ, Zul'jin, they like to fight. I don't believe either one of them have finished their stacking talents. Zul'jin is almost done. Is KTZ done? So KTZ's done. Zul'jin's done. So hypothetically, you don't have to stack anymore. But your team likes to fight. So if you like to fight, why are we not pushing with this boss? Right? We want to fight them. If they want to defend the boss, we fight them. If they don't defend the boss, we get the building. There's not really anything middle to fight over. Right? Like, there's no rush here. I thought at first you guys were all running to their boss, which again, we want to fight. And so that would be a 5 versus 4 because they're answering the boss. But then Hogger's doing the camp over here. So if Hogger's doing the camp, we're not doing the boss because we need to be 5 to do a boss invade. So with us being split, what do? They do their pick thing at level 13, and they get a kill off of pick. We just happen to get a punish counter kill because they have a whole bunch of squishies. Oh, and Pado's dead too because there's no... Oh, he didn't hit Tazdingo fast enough. So now we're, again, tied at the 3 of 3 point. 2 for 1. They're coming to the objective. So in the same way that when we were channeling, right, Stitches hooked us, they give vision when they channel. So KTZ can poke the channel until people get up. Right? Like, so we just need to be able to play slow and fight what makes sense. Right? We stalled what we could. Everyone's just now alive. We are still not ready to fight. You know what I mean? Like, again, we just stalled. Okay. We are finally ready to fight. And not only that, but Zagara's not here. This is the great time to fight. We slowed it down. We defeated their win condition, and now we're playing into ours. It's a good stun. It's a good net. Hey, we synced up our abilities. Look how strong we are. We're all in. We're playing, and we play off of each other. I don't know what that was. I'm guessing Iggy tried to predict Volatumble. Okay, we get this here. So before we channel it, where do we want to go? What buildings do we want to hit? What's the most important building to knock down? The most important building to knock down is your boss lane. Because your boss usually ends the game, not the objective. So you want to make sure, if possible, that this is the lane that gets knocked down. That's very hard to do from this position. So I would probably do, since they're 3 dead, I would probably siege as hard as I can, middle, and then put Hogger top, and then maybe, I don't know, like I said, I'd probably just do a 1-4 here. Like, try and get this middle keep if anyone overextends to defend against you. Because this is probably going to die once the curse comes on because it's already stacked and pushed in your favor. So I'd probably do like a 1-4 here and see if we can get some keeps exposed. So I don't mind boss if we didn't channel the objective. If we wanted to 5-man run at boss, I think that's actually a very cool idea and cool play. The reason I say that is because then the boss gets to push while the curse is up, versus right now, we're taking the boss and not pushing with our curse.
My favor is yours.
So we used 20 seconds of our curse. We lost any chance we had at knocking down middle. Top died on its own and bottom died on its own because it had camps. So we had a chance to take down middle and kill the Vala Zagara that was there, but we took boss. I think it could still work out, right? Because, like, what do we want to do? We want to fight, right? It's a good boop. Iggy, oh my gosh, you guys saved his life. Hogger died for it, though. Rhaegar had to go home for mana and health. I just saw that. This makes boss even worse, because now you don't have healer support, and we're trying to push with it. Like you got your pick, right? Like you got your wombo, just becomes very hard to win and sustain this. It's unfortunate. Pado felt pressured that he had to do it. He might have died to Zagara minions. Okay, we missed our combo. Time to leave. 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 This building's dead. It's time to leave. Okay, good job. Alright, so our curse got 3 forts and a keep. That's very good. We don't have much of an advantage here, but we probably can do this because we have vision of where they are. Yeah, I think next time, if you're gonna boss, I think we 5-man boss, capture the objective, and then push with it. Like we still got it. We still got to keep, right? So it's like it's not the end of the world, but like this could be punished, and then we could use our time better to secure the other buildings or get other kills. So that's just my first thoughts on that. They're overextended. Try. That's a good hogger stun. Okay, need to watch out for hook from the south now. Yeah, we don't have anything left to do. Right? Yep. We walk away. Okay. Effectively, we're up a level. We got to keep up. The map is pretty much blue outside of the camp that's on their side. So the next objective we see is going to be spawning on their side, top right. That's kind of a hard spot to fight for. But we can get the lanes pushed out and maybe look for a kill once all of our ults are up again. So, or is the boss on its way up? Is that what you guys... Okay, you went to a camp. There you go, that's fine. So, when's our boss up? Because that's pretty much the next big thing. Yeah, as I say, boss is coming. So, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck. I think you have to go to the objective. I don't think you can do the boss. We're clearing bottom. I don't like that we 5-man cleared bottom. I don't even think we should have cleared it at all. Because this is now, like, I agree we have poke stall tools. Like, KTZ can poke it and stall it. But, like, if he's blowing poke stall, then it makes it very hard for us to be together and fight together. So I think I would have liked to have just had everyone get here to the objective on time and early, instead of trickling in and then, like, we're not in position to punish the people that are out of position. Right? So, like, if we go back to right here, when the objective said it was being summoned, you can see there's a Vala top by themselves. And then as soon as you start clearing the wave, you saw Zagara's top, Malf is at the objective, and Stitches is middle. So instead of here, if we were here, right, because we were all rotating through this bush. So if we were here, we can either kill Malf, kill Zagara, or kill Vala that was up here. Right, I'm going to cheat for a second and use everyone vision. You see how spread out they are? Any of them can die to your 5-man wombo kill. But us being bottom pretty much means that we're not going to be able to fight for this objective in our favor. Right? We want to be set up and ready to fight if we really want this objective. So. Okay. So obviously we're going to go up here. So again, we found Vala. Oh my gosh, the Vala is feeding. That Vala. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys won that fight because Vala decided to to be in no man's land. She's not allowed to stand there ever. So, you guys land your combo. Well done. And then I think you just run them down at this point. Yep, run them down. I can't believe that they did that. That Vala was dead. There's no reason at all that Vala should be there. Yep, GG. Just go core. You have a Zul'jin. Go core. Where's our Hog? Hog, get over here. Hold on. Hog, don't go that way. You have an E. Just E. You throw your thing here and you E off this wall right here. Just bloop bloop. Don't walk around. Don't waste time. So, alright. Yeah, that's effectively game. So, alright, let's look at some talents. Okay, so blaze things. Okay, so main tank blaze has usually two very key talents. Number 4 and number 1. So you need new habits. It's absolutely required if you are going to go combustion. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but new habits is absolutely required for combustion because you don't want to get interrupted while you're channeling. You don't want to get knocked back while you're channeling, right? Like you want to be able to oil, E in, hit someone, pop unstoppable, or potentially oil unstoppable charge, right? Depending on what their team is, like oil, unstoppable, E in, and then push R to be able to get your combustion off without being interrupted. So like it's a lot more complex, but you really don't want to be knocked back or interrupted because then you don't get your bonus damage and you are already hard enough to hit things when you're slowed. You're self-slowing yourself. So unstoppable is absolutely required. Okay. Meltdown ends up being a bait talent a lot of the time. So if you happen to hit your enemy with your D, it reduces their damage dealt by 8%. So you are like, what are you going to be quote unquote damage reducing when you are in their face? Right? Like this is kind of like a triple bruiser death ball, like we're going to be all together talent where you're going to be just living in the back line. At 4, you have the main tank talent is here, oil dispersal. So you get mana back when you hit your oil, and you get to expand the area of the oil, which makes it easier for you to zone. It also makes it easier for you to hit your E's. So damage reduction here is not typical for main tank. If you're not going to take, if for some reason you don't need unstoppable or you're not taking combustion, either neural or enhance is really good. I really like neural as main tank blaze just because you get more stuns, more oils. So I do think this is the correct one to their damage structures. If you're playing combustion, you guys are definitely all in. You're trying to wombo more or less off of your combustion. So, and then I like both the E talents here. I think these are good. I think that you can go. I think you can go. Like if you think you're really going to be using your D more frequently, right? Because if the new habits reduces the cooldown on your D. You thought you were going to be living in the back line with their D, then like now you get to heal with your D. The cool thing about heat treatment is heat treatment actually works on all damage dealt. So if you use like your D on a creep wave, it's almost like an ancestral heal. So I do think these are the correct talents, though. I think if you're main tank blaze, you're mainly playing with the E's, but it's more of a tech thing. And then they don't have any spell damage for you to use the Juggernaut planing. So, all right, let's look at Hogman. So Hogger, Rage, Um, sure. I don't think you need the bigger range on this map. I can see it on like Infernal Shrines or whatever, but that's fine. Um, sure. And then you're all in playing off the shockwave, off the stun. That's fine. You don't need the Hortipult. You're not diving in them. Pummel 100%. Reducing spell power also reduces healing. You might want the armor into Vala. I don't think it's super critical, but just something to think about if you're there's like because usually you want to reduce spell power for a specific thing. Like obviously having the slow is super strong too, but just thinking about what talents you need, you might want armor just for being able to survive the damage structure that's being pointed into you. Headbanger 100%, and then level 20 you take the upgrade. Um, or Hog Wild, whatever that is, no control. All right, Dogman, Totem, 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 Ancestral, Totem, Totem. It's so funny because I just talked about how like we're burst, we're all in and all that stuff, and then we take like all of the sustainability talents, right? Like I like Colossal Totem, especially if you're planning on going all the totems. I think Feral Heart's good on the map, just because it gives you that much better rotations. Healing Totem I think is amazing, especially if their damage structure is more sustained. You can take this and it's a free big heal. Doesn't cost mana. I do agree if you're taking larger totem range, you should take totem here. I don't know if purification is good enough. Like being able to reduce the cleanse cooldown could be huge if you know you can like cleanse hooks, but it's pretty hard. So I like this. I agree with that. And then um, and then every 2 seconds, Earth Biting Pizza will cancel unchanneled chain heal. So this is the one that I'm not sure of. I think I would have taken um, potentially Earthen Shield or Tidal Waves, because like Earthen Shield gives you the ability to catch is able to get ensure that Ancestral lands off. Because if like Pado is really low and you need to make sure that you can save him, using the Earthen Shield gives you a shield, and then you can throw your Ancestral on top of it. Versus Wellspring is kind of like more heals at the area, and it's not guaranteed that your totem is going to be in a spot to heal the person that you want. So I don't mind it. This is 100% the correct one though. This is something to think about is when you want to use certain talents for your fights and for their damage type and structures. And then who didn't I talk about yet? KTZ. I think KTZ was fine. I like Q build on KTZ. Um, yeah, Q build tends to be the most consistent. I do like the slow afterwards. And then, yep, spell power I think is here. I would have actually been okay with more Qs. Just depends on your damage structure. I don't mind the bonus damage there, but more Qs is not bad either. And then Zul'jin, Recklessness. Okay. Remove roots and slows. Yes, this is good into mouth. I agree. Pardon me. Um, wait, we're playing W build? So you did go spell power build. And then you're going Tazdingo? Okay. Usually, I try and keep things synergistic, where you're going to take the bonus spell power damage to do more spell power damage, to then be able to use Guillotine, as your finisher for spell power, and then, Ensnare ensures that you can land the Guillotine, or Ensnare ensures that you can hit your slow at the wrong time, which makes you hit the Guillotine. So it's just interesting, because most people, if you're playing Tazdingo, this is because you're turreting and AAing and you don't want to die, not because you're trying to get like massive spell damage hits. So I didn't realize that you kind of went half and half between spell damage and AA damage. I would have to look up and see how much damage you did spell power versus AA, but most of the time people are playing Zul'jin for the AAs, not for the spell power. So you can play it either way that you want. I just think that if you're gonna take a spell power caster in KTZ, you probably want to be the sustained damage, right? Every team should be balanced around the idea that you can finish kills and get people low. And so if KTZ is supposed to be our finisher, right, then it's like then we need to get things low for him. If KTZ is supposed to be our chunker, we need to have something that can finish. And so being able to constantly AA things while they're slowed and be a constant threat of damage is kind of why you tend to see those mixtures and balances of damage structures. But playing for all spell damage means that you guys are definitely more all in. Where you don't have your cooldowns up, you have to back up and not take fights. So, just something to think of. Okay, cool. It was definitely a fun game. I think you guys were gifted some free kills. I think that you guys started pulling it together towards the end and playing together, playing off of one another. And a couple of the key fights where we were able to go all in and land all of our combos was great. I think that if you're going to play main take blaze, look at using your oil first before stunning. Like I said, I'd recommend having one of your DPS be sustained and one being burst for that particular group and combination. And then lastly, I just want to show off real quick what the Blaze slow level 4 talent, because it's actually pretty good at making sure that you're able to land your stuns. So if you take oil dispersion and nano coating, it's really hard for the enemy to dodge your stuff. So I'll wait for him. So I throw the oil out. He's already slowed. He can't get away from it. And then he slowed that entire area and duration. So if you're able to throw that first, it'll make it a lot easier. And then if you are able to pop your D and get the number 1 off, you can actually get multiple E's off in one fight. That's one of the benefits of taking the Neural Stim Pack. So something to just think about when you're looking at your talents and choices of what you're going to do. And then let me toggle cooldowns real quick. So let's go to, let's put it to 20. So,
choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
Okay, I just want to show off this heat. This pyromania talent when it's there. So let me go get hurt.
You've impressed me, hero.
Okay. So I said, so I'm hurt. I can come over to a creep wave. And I get my D, and I heal for all the damage dealt. So yes, Malf is healing me there. We'll just get rid of Malf for a second so we can view it again. I wish I could just kill myself damage-wise. That way I don't have to run back in and take damage from the towers. But like, you took the reduced cooldown on D here, right? And so then every, 90 seconds, but if you're standing here in the middle of a creep wave, you were already responsible for clearing waves, and now you've healed yourself almost like Ancestral's worth for your D. And so if we don't toggle cooldowns, and let's go ahead and complete our quest, right? So now, right, this is available every 15, sorry. It's still on a 90-second cooldown, but it gets reduced by regen globes, which is usually what you're going to be looking for and chasing for anyway. So if we take a bunch of damage here, and then we'll toggle the minions as they walk away, so that way we can reset them. Right, so like whether it be in the middle of the fight or something that's coming up, you can group the minions and get, you know, a heal. And then besides it being on a reduced cooldown, you also can then use globes to reduce that cooldown to get it better. So I don't think it's always the right choice. I think it's honestly probably not ideal a lot of the time. But something to think about if you know that they're going to be bundled up or they're going to be fighting in waves. So it's like in the middle of a fight when you're going down, to be able to just pop your D and get back to full health is kind of huge. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's really all I have. I said, and then the oil dispersion difference. So yeah, I was going to show what that looks like.
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
So if you look at your normal W and you put it in a lane, you know, it's like you kind of have that much. But if you take the increased area, you can see that like you're not only covering a bigger area, but you're also able to zone and hit things a little bit easier. So it also counts for your max range. So when you're throwing things at max range, W, it also makes it bigger on that side of it. So it's easier for you to hit your stun. So, and then you can't really stun things that are past your range of your circle. Because if you look at how far your E goes, it's pretty much not the max range of your circle. So if you know that you're going to be throwing your oil inside your stun circle, you won't miss. So you want to try your best to have both of those. And then when you're fighting, one of the things you don't want to do, and it's actually really hard to remember not to do, is you don't want to light your oils on fire unless you are specifically like healing yourself or securing a kill from the additional burst damage and you're in position to body block. So let me pick an enemy here real quick. And just toggle the minions off. Come on, Alexstrasza. Okay, so when you hit her, right, you put your oil out and you hit the stun. So it's like she's still slowed as long as she's in this oil. You can see the debuff. So if you burn it, she's no longer slowed. So what you want to make sure you do is you're putting your oil, you're stunning, and then right at the end of your oil, you can light it on fire and then try to body block so that way that it can't get past you. But you don't want to be doing that towards the end, you don't want to light your oil immediately on fire because then it removes the movement speed slow. Like the amount of damage that you do is not super significant. Right, if we come over to the test dummy here, like if I throw oil and stun, right, that's 240 damage or whatever, right? I guess not a ton of damage. So it's like if I put the oil and the fire, you know, okay, cool, I did 1,000 damage, right? And they stood in it the entire time, compared to just my stun is 355 without any auto attacks. So if I'm able to get, you know, more auto attacks off because they're being stunned and they're being slowed by my DPS, it's going to be a lot better than trying to hold someone in a puddle that is not able to do that. So that's all. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for the replay, Cranky. Good luck, guys. See you on the next one.